I gotta tell you, I've asked over 1,000 people that question in my life. Not one person has been able to give me the exact answer. Some people are a little closer than others, but nobody knows the exact answer. And the good news is it's really easy to find that answer out if you know the right questions to ask and if you know the right variables to measure when it comes to your planning. We have to take a lot of different variables that are not just the classic, what am I gonna pay for fees for my investments? What are my returns gonna be? We have to take a lot of other variables into consideration, things like inflation, things like taxes, things like what is the rest of your life and the debt and Social Security and how do all these other things play into your life? And those are easy questions to get answered if you work with the right people. Hey, what's going on, cash flow hackers? It's Chris with Life 180, and for this video, we're gonna be talking about the four most important questions that you need to be able to answer and understand for you to be able to actually have an effective retirement strategy. Now, when I think about this, I'm always thinking about it from two perspectives, both in terms of as an agent, how do you communicate to really serve your clients in the most powerful way possible? And then secondly, on the other side of this, as a client, as a prospect, as somebody who's looking to put together a plan in your life and you're contemplating who are you going to work with, how are you going to make your decisions, what is the path of information that you need to kind of like go down, and how do you filter out all the noise out there? I'm a big believer we need to break it down into its most simple components and make a decision from there. And so this video, I want to really break it down, make it as simple as possible, and get into what I think the four most important questions are you need to be able to answer for you to have 100% clarity on, is your current strategy going to get you where you want to go and be able to help you maintain your standard of living on a guaranteed basis for the rest of your life? If the answer is no to that question, if you don't know the answers to that question, well then you're not going to be able to, the odds of you succeeding are going to be far, far, far less than obviously if you do know, because if you know, you can execute, you can plan, it's going to be more real to you. I think one of the biggest reasons that 95% of the people in this country, in this world, I think, are not able to maintain their standard of living when they retire is because they don't know the answer to these questions. And I'm a big believer, anything we measure improves. And if you know what you need to measure to reach success, then you're obviously going to increase your odds of success. So let's get into this. So question number one, doing what you're currently doing with your retirement plan, with your savings plan, with your investment plan. I don't know if you have a 401k, a Roth IRA. I don't know what you have for savings, for emergency, for opportunity, your investment portfolio, your real estate portfolio, businesses, what your exit strategy is. All these different things come into consideration. I'm a big believer there's not one desired, best retirement plan for any one person. I'm a big believer you should never invest in anything you don't understand, and that you should always invest in yourself. And so, anybody that's out there that just says you should put money into just certain accounts and go from there, I'm really hesitant to listen to anybody that kind of says you should put money in a 401k and just let it buy and hold and sit, a Roth IRA, buy and hold and sit, and just kind of keep stuffing money in there and hoping it will work. However, if you are doing that, or if you're doing any other strategy, this is an important question to ask yourself, and it's the foundational question that if you don't know the answer to this question, then you're basically pushing a rock up the hill, a boulder up a hill, and you're probably never going to get to the top of the hill. So that question is, doing what you're currently doing, do you know exactly what rate of return you need to earn to be able to maintain your standard of living and retire when you want for the rest of your life? So, for instance, if you're working right now, and let's say you're 50, and you want to retire at 65, and I'm just going to play out the average American and kind of what the American dream is sold on retiring at 65, kind of doing that thing and being able to have enough income in retirement. Do you know what you need to do on an annual basis to be able to earn with what you're currently saving? Let's say you're saving 10% of your income, let's say you're saving whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter. You know what your contributions are to your retirement accounts, to your saving. You understand your standard of living. You understand how much money you're going to need. All these things. Do you know what rate of return you need to earn on a guaranteed basis to be able to retire when you want and not have to reduce your standard of living for the rest of your life? I got to tell you, I've asked over 1,000 people that question in my life. not one person has been able to give me the exact answer. Some people are a little closer than others, but nobody knows the exact answer. And the good news is it's really easy to find that answer out if you know the right questions to ask and if you know the right variables to measure when it comes to your planning. We have to take a lot of different variables that are not just the classic, what am I going to pay for fees for my investments? What are my returns going to be? We have to take a lot of other variables into consideration, things like inflation, things like taxes, things like what is the rest of your life and the debt and Social Security and how do all these other things play into your life? And those are easy questions to get answered if you work with the right people. And so just if you are going down a path, make sure you're working with somebody that can answer those questions for you. So that's question number one, is doing what you're currently doing. Do you know what rate of return your current financial strategy needs to earn on an annual basis to maintain your standard of living for the rest of your life and allow you to retire when you want to retire? Question number two, since you probably are going to get the answer to that once you go down that path, and you're going to find out that you're probably behind the 8 ball as far as what your goals and objectives are and being on track for having the results that you want. The question is, do you know how much more money or how much money total you actually need to save with good conservative assumptions? Let's just call it a 6 or 7 or 8%, whatever assumption you're comfortable with. I'm not here to tell you what you should think. I'm a big believer, your investment strategy should be in alignment with your beliefs and values, right? So if you want to say, hey, I think I can get 10%, I'm going to tell you I think you're wrong and I'm going to educate you on why. But if you say 8% or if you say 6%, the key is, do you know how much money you need to save with certain assumptions? Most people don't know the answer to that question, right? So you have to kind of start with the end in mind, reverse engineer a process to get there. That's the only way you're able to get the answer to that question. So the third question is, if you hit retirement and you don't have enough money with what you're currently doing, do you know how much longer you're going to have to live or going to have to work? Hopefully you live a lot longer. Do you know how much longer you're going to have to work? So when you hit with what you're currently doing, with your current financial strategy, if it doesn't work, let's say you expected 10%, let's say it only winds up with 8% on an annual basis between now and when you retire. If you hit 65 and the variables don't come into play the way that you hoped and they were less, and maybe you don't have as much money, do you know how much longer you're going to have to work to be able to retire at some point in time and be able to maintain your standard of living? Let's say your target retirement date is 65. Do you want to retire or will you have to work till 67? Will you have to work till 72? What is that number for you? Having clarity on that can give you the motivation to do what you need to do now to get to where you want to go. And then finally, the fourth question that everybody needs to answer, and this is a really big important one, is, let's face it, you get to retirement, something happens to you. You get to 65 and scenario 3 comes into the equation and you don't have enough money and you can't keep working. Let's say something happens to you physically. You get cancer, you have disabilities in some way, shape, or form, or maybe you just aren't able to keep working for whatever. Maybe you get laid off and you don't get hired at the level of income that you were banking on your whole career before. Things happen, especially in these economic environments of uncertainty that we're going into. And so if you hit 65 years old or whatever that retirement age is for you, and you're not able to keep working for whatever reason that reason may be, do you know how much you're going to have to reduce your standard of living with your current financial strategy? These are the 4 most important questions that you need to understand, that you need to ask yourself, understand, and that you need to plan around. If your financial strategy doesn't account for these 4 questions and for the emotion and the strategy that needs to kind of be encapsulated by the spirit of the purpose of these questions, I would really, really encourage you to reach out to somebody. It doesn't have to be us. It can be us. If you want to talk to somebody on the Life 180 team who I've trained to kind of go through this process and work through this process with you, you can absolutely go down below, click on the link, set up a call with one of our wealth coaches, and they will help you answer these questions for yourself. If by some chance you want to work with somebody else, my encouragement is, these are just things that you need to take into consideration from you, whether you work with anybody or not. make sure you go down a process, ask yourself those questions, make sure you can answer those questions. And if you can't, make sure you're reaching out with somebody that can help you. So if you have any comments at all, and if you need any help at all with anything and you're not comfortable with talking to somebody, just leave a comment in the comment section below. I will do my best to engage with every single comment. As always, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, that way you get notified every time I launch a new video, because I am working just tirelessly on creating high quality content that is focused on education and helping you regain control of your financial life or accomplish what you want to accomplish on a more predictable and guaranteed basis. So till next video, have a blessed, inspirational day. We'll talk soon. See ya.